Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we are going to build news homepage, which is a challenge from Front-End Mentor that include logo, navigation links, main section, and a site for news, and 3 features at the bottom of page. And it is fully responsive for a smaller screen with hamburger button, which is open and close. Mainly we are going to use CSS Grid and Flexbox for this layout. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to get notified. And let's jump into VS Code and together build this page. Here I have my folder, which is news homepage. Inside the folder I have assets, which are images that we are going to use in our design, and I have empty HTML, JavaScript, and CSS style. I set our boilerplate by exclamation mark and press tab, and here we have our boilerplate. And let's change the title, news homepage. By saving it, you should have title on your browser. And now let's link our CSS. In our design we have a header, which is include logo and navigation links. And let's start by creating a class called header, and inside here add logo, and in the logo I have image tag and it is logo, and we have a logo here in our image, and we need to redirect our source here, and let's call it images, and inside the images we have a logo here and it is type SVG, and here we have a logo. Now below the logo we need to add navigation links, and we can use a shortcut which is nav and unordered list, which is a class navigation links, we call it navigation, and we have a list. For the list we have home plus, we have list, we have a new plus, we have a list called popular, and we have a list, we have trending, plus list. The last one is categories, and press tab, you have navigation links. By this way you can save a lot of time. Now we have a main content, and in the main content we have a class called main content. Let's say and in the main content we have featured article class, article, we have image, which is we need to redirect. We have image and it is image web 3 desktop, and add class, call it, and create another class, call it article content, and in the article content we have heading, which is h2, and another class text and button, and here we have a paragraph. For the main content we need to add read more button, and it is button, and let's say read. Now we have a main content, read more button, and let's move into a side article, and in the side article we have a 3 element, and this is a class called news article, and inside here we have a 3 classes, news item times 3, and now here we need to add heading for section, call it new, give it a title here, and we need to add another paragraph here, and the paragraph is heading 4 and a title for the first one, and the second one dividing line here, which is call it divider, and add h4 and add paragraph as well. And the last one is, let's add a divider as well here, call it divider, and h4, add paragraph here and add the text. And the last one is we have a bottom content and 3 features, and each feature has a text, heading, and image. We start by class name of bottom content, And this bottom content is the main container that holds 3 articles with a unique ID, and this arrow indicates that the article is a child of bottom content, and each article has a unique ID, which is article, and a $sign which represent a unique number. And we have 3 classes. When you press tab, you have 3 articles with the unique ID. So we need to set each class with image, and the image is, we call it image, and in the image we have, this is PC, and in here we have class article details and span class, a unique number, and we have heading and paragraph, and we have emit abbreviation also. We can use a class called article details, and span is a direct child, and a class called article is a unique number. Here we have a number, and the number is 01, and plus we have h4, which is heading, plus we have a paragraph. And when we press tab, and now we need to write heading and paragraph. The same way we will add here, add the third one here, a link or JavaScript. Now here we have logo, navigation links, a hero section, image with a heading, paragraph, and read more button. And we have a site 3 section and 3 image. Let's jump into CSS style and style this page. In CSS, let's start by body. For the body here, let's say font family, and set to this Arial sans serif. This ensure the text is rendered with a clean appearance. Box sizing and set to border box with the value of border box to include padding and border in the element. This makes the layout design easier to manage. Background color very light, almost white with hint of yellow. Let's say using this 36 and this to have 100%. The last lightness to be 99%. Let's give font size. Font size, making content accessible, make it 15 pixel. Now let's go to style the heading section, and it is dot header. For the header, let's say display flexible box layout, making the children of the header element displayed in a row or column based on other flex item. This property facilitates the position of a child element within the header. And let's say justify content, create a balanced spacing, let's say space between, align item to center. This is vertically aligned element, the center of the header. Padding, this apply 0 from top and bottom, and 20 pixel from right and left. Go to navigation links, class called navigation, and for the navigation let's start by removing the default list item maker. List style, say none. Display flex, and display item in a row. Let's say justify content, this is to add space evenly, let's say space between. Add padding 0, remove the default padding, gap, make it 30 pixel. Now let's target the list, and it is a list. And for the list, start by horizontal padding for each item. Let's say adding 0 from top and bottom and 10 left and right. Make font weight 600. Slightly transparent for softer appearance. Say opacity, make it 0.7, which is 70%. Let's make a hover for navigation links. For that, let's say dot navigation list hover. For the hover color, to change the text color on hover for visual feedback, HSL 5, for saturation 85% and brightness 63%. Now we are done with the navigation links. Let's style the logo. It is a class H1, and for that max width. Here we need to make the logo to maintain layout consistency, and to make a limit 100 pixel. Height, make it auto. Now we're done with the logo. Let's go to the main content, and for the main content here we have a class called main content. For that, enable grid layout, and let's say display grid template column, and here define column with 2:1 ratio, and it is 2 fraction for the main and 1 for a side section. set a gap between grid items 20 pixel and add margin around entire grid 10 pixel. Featured article, this class, let's say position to be relative, and we have dot featured image for main image. Width, let's say 100%. Make image fully responsive to its parent width. Make the height auto. Maintain the image original aspect ratios. We have class featured article. In that we have heading 2, and for the heading set larger font size 3 rem. For the color, apply the blue color, which is HSL 240% saturation, and brightness to be 5%. Now for the font weight, 700. And next we have paragraph featured article, which is P, and for this set the font size slightly larger than default for readability, and let's say font size 1.1 rem. Color here, apply a soft dark gray color, which is HSL 236, saturation 13%, and lightness to be 42%. Now let's style the button here. Dot read more. For the read more, let's say width 30% of space, and give it to background color. And for this to set a vibrant background color, HSL 5% 3%. Color to be white, FFF. Font size to be 1.2 rem, and border say none. Padding for better touch interaction, and appearance as well, 10 pixel. Position the bottom within the parent container, and for that let's say bottom 20 pixel and left 20 pixel as well. And here for the cursor, change the cursor to indicate checkable item. For that we make it pointer. Add hover for read more, and for the hover let's say background color to have a black, which is 000, color to have a white, which is FFF. Let's go to article content. For the article content, display grid, and this is to enable grid layout structure. Grid template columns, split content into 2 equal columns, and this is a 1 fraction and 1 fraction. And align item to be center, vertically align grid item, and add gap, and this gap to be 10 pixel, and add padding inside the container 10 pixel. Now for article content, for the heading here, H2, and for that assign the element to the first column of the grid. Grid column 1 margin, remove the margin for tight spacing 0. Now we have the text and the button and button. Here we need to place the content with a second column, because we for the article content for the heading here for the first column, and for the text and bottom we need to set at the second grid column to set in the second one. And let's say display flex, enable flexible layout for internal element, and flex direction to be column to set the bottom below the text to be center, and padding make 0 from top and bottom and 2 pixel from left and right. Now we are done with the main here. Let's move to news article here. And for the news article, display grid, enable a grid layout for news section, and for the grid template column, create 3 rows that adapt the content size. So make it repeat 3 by auto here. Now let's move to a news item, direct child of news article, which is new item. And for that, add background. For the background color, we have deep blue background, which is HSL, and for that let's 240, saturation to make 100%, and lightness to be 5%. And here set a color, text color to be a light gray for readability against the dark background, and in that we set to HSL 233 and saturation to be 8% and lightness to be 79%. This is to be 8%, not 85. And padding to make 0 from top and bottom, and 30 pixels left and right. Let's set the news article inside the main content and save it. For the grid template columns here, we change into grid template rows to set the 3 news into rows. Now for new item, for the heading, let's say H3, and for that we set the font to be a bit larger, font size, to make it 2 rem, and change color, say color, and make it HSL. This is to set 77%, and lightness to be 62%. Add margin bottom 20 pixel. Let's adjust heading 4 and dot new item heading 4. For heading 4, let's just add font size 1.2 rem, a bit larger from the default. Add hover for new item H4, hover color dot new item P, and here set a standard font size. Let's say font size to make it 1 rem, a bit smaller. Reduce opacity for less, so make it easier to read the text, and for that let's say opacity, make it 60%. Add the divider here to be the same as the text, the divider. Now for the bottom content here, and here let's enable grid layout, display grid. Let's say grid template columns here, and here create 3 columns for equal width, and for that we say repeat 3, set a space between say gap 10 pixel, and align item to be center. So this item vertically within their cell, and give it padding to be 10 pixel. Now for the article, display flex. This is for each enable flexible layout to direct children, and align item to be center, add gap to be 20 pixel, padding, remove the padding for the article container. For image here, let's say dot article img, and for this set the image width, and let's say width to make 100 pixel, make height to be auto. And now for these article numbers, dot article number. For article number, let's give it font size to 1.5 m, and color to have 333, which is dark gray color. Font weight to be bold. The opacity to make semi-transparent, and for that they say 0.5, which is 50%. And now let's go to heading of the article. Let's say dot article and H4, which is heading, and margin here, vertical margin for spacing without affecting horizontal alignment. So let's say 5 pixel, and top and bottom, and 0 right and left. For H4, and give its color to be orange. 85%, 63%. And now for the paragraph, article P, and for that, let's say font size smaller than the base, 0.9 m. Make it slice, reduce opacity for lighter, and for that make it 0.7, which is 70%. Now remain to adapt different screen size, but before that, let's add toggle button. Let's go to our HTML file. Below the logo, we need to add button, which is for toggle button. And for the button here, let's add a class called menu toggle. And for that, we need to add image. And the source is, we have images here, icon menu SVG here, and let's give it ID. And for the ID, menu open icon. And let's add image as well here for open and close navigation. For this, we are going to add a close icon menu close SVG. Let's add ID, which is menu close icon, and add a style, which is display none. Now we add our toggle menu. Let's go to style toggle menu first before we go into JavaScript to give life. So for this, we have .menu toggle, and for the toggle here, we say, let's say background none, border, let's say none as well, and cursor to be pointer. Ensure the toggle is above as an element for accessibility. So let's say Z index 30, top left 20 pixel, and right 20 pixel as well. Position out of the normal flow, place top right. We don't want to display on larger screens, display none, in order to display only on a smaller screen. Now let's add media query and specify the screen, and max width 768 pixel, and start by heading. Let's dot header, and for the header, change to row to align item horizontally, and for that flex direction to be row. Justify content, flex start, and align item to be center. Padding top to have 10 pixel, and position to be relative. The index to be 10. And now let's navigation list. And for the navigation list, add padding to each list item for top target, and for that 0.5 m from top and bottom, and 0 from left and right. Dot navigation dot open. This is to show the navigation when it has the open class, and for that, let us display flex. Now let's go to the logo dot logo, and for the logo, say position to be fixed, top 0, left to be 0 as well, width to be 100%, and display flex. Justify content to be space between, align item to be center, and padding to be 0.5 m. Background color to be same as default background. For this, let's say the display block. Now main layout, let's say main content and dot article content, bottom content. All of this to display grid a template column, which is only one fraction for a smaller screen. For featured article H2, to change the font size, so let's say font size to be 2 rem, dot text to bottom here, and for this, grid column, align the first column, make it 1, and for article image, for this width to be 50 pixel, article number here, also make it font size to be smaller, 1 em, and for the read more bottom here, read more, width to make it 50%, and font size to be 1 rem for a smaller screen, and padding 5 pixel. Now let's go to toggle button. For the toggle menu, so let's say display block, let's say position absolute, top 20 pixel, and right also 20 pixel. And now let's go to logo, and for the logo here, place the logo first in the flex container and make it order, and call it -1, margin right, auto here. And now let's do the navigation links, and that is called navigation. And for the navigation, let's say display none, and flex direction to be column, gap to be 10 pixel, position to be absolute, top 20 pixel, left 30%, background color to be default background, width to be 100%, add box shadow to be 4 pixel, 8 pixel, RGB color 0 0 0 1.3, padding to be 70%, z index to be 10. Dot navigation list, and padding 10 pixel top and bottom, and 20 pixel right and left. And for dot navigation, for open here, to display flex, overriding the default hidden state. Dot new article, new articles here, display grid template rows, and this is to repeat 3 fraction auto. Bottom content, this is grid template columns to display 1 fraction for each. We managed to make our page responsive. Let's go to the JavaScript in order to display our icon here, button, when we press the button to show the navigation links. In JavaScript here, start by document and add event listener. This line wait for the entire HTML document to be fully loaded and parsed before executing the enclosed function. This ensures that HTML elements are available for manipulation. Var menu open icon. This retrieves the HTML element with ID menu open icon and stores in the variable menu open icon when we press the toggle button to show the navigation links. Similar to previous line, this retrieves the element with ID menu close icon, and this is menu open icon. This icon for closing the navigation menu with ID name menu close icon. This select the first element in the document with a class menu toggle, and this this document here and document here, and assign to the variable toggle button, and this is used to toggle the navigation menu visibility. This line is for main navigation menu and you store it in the variable navigation. Now this add click event listener to the toggle button. When the button is clicked, the enclosed function will execute inside this function as follows. Var is open, so determine whether the navigation menu is currently open by checking if navigation element has the class open. And the second one is to toggle open a class on the navigation element based on the current state. If the menu is open is true, it remove the class closing the menu. If the menu is closed, it add the class open. This change display style to block, and this line control the visibility of the menu close icon. If the menu is open, the close icon is shown. If menu is closed, the close icon is hidden. Now let's change this is get element by ID, and the second one is also get element by ID, and let's test to see whether it's working and how it's working. That's all for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a thumb up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to get notified. Until next, happy coding.